Assessment for housing and residential life is a key component of our success as a department. We kind of break it down into three different ways, really. Um, First, on the residence life area, we kind of look at our learning goals and our outcomes and our objectives for what we want our students to gain from their on-campus living experience. That comes down to tying back to the value statements of the university. And as we're approaching fall 2018, we're rolling out a residential curriculum which will have specific learning objectives, goals, and outcomes associated with that. So we use campus labs as well as a new company called RoomPack to do some of those assessment components for our learning goals and outcomes. Another important component of assessment for me is satisfaction of students with their on-campus living experience. There are many different stakeholders that impact their student residential experience, such as the police department, transportation services, dining services, facilities management, and information technology. And none of those departments report within housing and residential life, but they are people that provide services to our department, and some of which we actually pay for those services. So the important component is to make sure that what they are providing to housing and residential life is what the students actually need. So part of our assessment components is once a year we do a student satisfaction survey on all those different services. And the important component of that satisfaction survey is to share the information with all of those stakeholders at the same time, but also be transparent about it and share it with the students. So in this case, I share with the Interresidential Housing Council, which is the governing body for the residence halls. So they know how students are feeling about the services we're providing, and we also come up with a list of areas that we want to improve upon and work with that group later on to report back on how we're doing. And the last year we kind of do assessment pieces on is basically by the numbers. So tracking historically how we're doing with occupancy, retention of first-year students into their second year, the number of students who choose to recontract and live on campus, the number of incoming prospective students through our Husky Host program. Those are just a few of the different ways that we keep track of it. We also are mindful of the room and board costs, so we keep data on the cost of housing as it compares to the number of hours you would have to work at minimum wage. And that's just an information piece that we have going back to the late 1960s. So we have assessment pieces that cover all sorts of things, like I said, from the residential life area of learning goals and outcomes to student satisfaction and our by the numbers components that really help make us successful as a department. So assessment is critical to our success, and I highly recommend that every department on a university campus figure out a way that they're making impacts for students, and assessment is just one way to do that.